Hello and welcome to Void Electronics. If you're also confused about balanced audio and unbalanced audio and also about what phantom power means, then this video is for you. I've seen some terrible explanations about this online, to be honest, and that's what motivated me to make my own video about this. And I'm going to show you that these topics are actually very easy to understand if presented correctly. So to fit the Void Electronics brand, what we're going to do today is some demos, some real circuits, and we are going to start with a problem, come up with a solution and show you how everything works. And by the end of this video, all of you will understand what balanced and unbalanced audio means. So let's get started. What you should know is that all cables pick up noise along the way, and the worst type of cable to use when noise matters is unshielded cable. Let me demonstrate this. I have an unshielded cable that goes from my guitar to the guitar amplifier. And here's the result. We have lots of hum, and I can easily demonstrate that this cable is very susceptible to noise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cable which goes into a signal generator, and the signal generator puts out 1 kilohertz at 10 volts. This is a square wave. And as you can see, by simply approaching the instrument cable with this cable from a signal generator, we get tons of noise into the amplifier, which means that this is a poor cable. So the solution to this is to use a shielded cable. I've replaced the cable with a shielded cable, so let's give it a try once again. Same settings on the amplifier, by the way. And we have absolutely no hum. Everything works as expected. Now let's repeat the experiment with the signal generator. And as you can see, nothing happens. So the shielded cable is much better at rejecting noise. However, shielded cable is not enough in some circumstances, especially if you're running a show or something like that and you need really long cables. In that case, you need something even better than simple shielded cable. And this is where balanced audio comes in. So to recap, we have unshielded wire, which is terrible in terms of noise. Then we have shielded cable, which is much better because the outer shield protects the inner wire from interference. And then we have something even better, which is balanced audio. Now, balanced audio typically runs on a cable that looks like this. It's a shielded cable that has two signal wires inside, the hot wire and the cold wire. Let me show you what runs on these. We'll get to that in a second, but before that, this is the reason why for balanced audio we got rid of jacks typically, and we use XLR connectors that have 3 pins. We have the outer shield, the hot wire and the cold wire. Okay, so what signals do we run on the hot wire and the cold wire, and how do they help? Well, let me show you using the oscilloscope. If this is our useful signal, this would run on the hot wire. Now let me show you what runs on the cold wire. On the cold wire, what runs is the opposite of the hot wire, the exact opposite of the hot wire. And it looks something like this. So as you can see, as one signal goes up, the other one goes down, like so. So they are mirrored signals, or whatever you want to call them. And this technique is really helpful if you know how to design the circuits around it. Let me show you why. Well, as you can see, this signal is kind of noisy. It goes up and down like this, so this is noise. The useful signal is just this sine wave that we can see right here. So what you can do is you can only care about the difference between these two signals and not about the signal that goes up and down identically on both signals. Let me demonstrate. So this scope can add two signals and we get something like this. And you can also invert one of the channels, and this way you get the difference between these two channels. And if you do this, you get a perfect signal that has no noise. This is the power of balanced audio. If you do something like this, because you only care about the difference between these two signals, you can get rid of the noise. And this works because noise typically gets inserted into both wires equally, so you can easily cancel it out at the opposite end of the cable. Now if you want to see some extreme cases, we can drive some huge noise signals into this setup and it will still work. As you can see, the noise is much larger than the useful signal and it still works. And we can do even crazier things like applying a square wave at a relatively large frequency, and we get weird signals like so, but it still works. So as you can see, this technique is very powerful. And now it's time to get more technical because we need to explain How to get a differential signal from a single-ended one? Well, that's pretty easy. First of all, you usually start with a single-ended source like a guitar, a laptop or something like that. And if you want to turn it into a differential signal, you can simply use a transformer. So pay attention to the phasing right here. We have a phase dot here, here and here. So assuming that you have a positive signal at the dot here, you get a positive signal at the dot here with respect to this center tap, and you also have a positive signal right here with respect to this end of the winding. So if you have a center tap transformer like this one and you connect this center tap to ground, notice what happens here. On this wire you get a dot, so you get a positive signal, and here you don't have a dot, which means that this signal is negative. Now in AC we don't really talk about positive and negative, we usually talk about phase. So if the original signal looks like this, on the hot wire you get a signal which is in phase, and on the cold wire you get a signal which is out of phase. And this way you converted the single-ended source into a balanced one. Now this balanced signal can be of course sent through a cable that has two wires and a shield, and if you do the opposite thing at the opposite end, you get back a single-ended signal that can go into a load. So far it looks like a useless circuit, but this is actually very useful, because if this cable picks up noise along the way, and if that noise is common mode, meaning that it is identical on both signals, this gets rejected at the other end by the transformer. Why? Because the fields cancel out here, and there is no link between the secondary and the primary, so there is no way to couple a common mode signal into this end right here. The transformer only cares about the differential mode signal, which is the difference between these two wires. And this is the power, once again, of balanced audio. So now that we demonstrated we don't care about common mode signals, we can use them for something useful actually. For example, what if we drive these two wires at 48 volts? If we do that, the common mode voltage can be used at the other end in order to power something up, like a microphone preamplifier, for example. So let's demonstrate that, or let's sketch it first on a schematic. Well, what you can do is something like this. Instead of connecting the center tap to ground, you can connect the center tap to a 48 volt voltage source. And this way you get these two signals that instead of being centered to ground, they are now centered around 48 volts. This works because we reject common mode voltages at the other end, as I said. So now what you can do is you can take advantage of the common mode voltage at the other end, something like so. The center tap can be connected to a load, and that load is going to get 48 volts from this power supply. And this is called phantom power. This is also used in other contexts like Ethernet, where it's called power over Ethernet, by the way. With this in mind, this is the demo setup for today. So here's the useful signal, the single-ended one that goes into this transformer. This transformer turns it into a differential signal, which is connected to this transformer, and this transformer performs the opposite operation, of course, and turns this back into a single-ended signal, which goes into the oscilloscope. Now, in order to do something useful with the common mode signal and to demonstrate that we have common mode rejection, the common mode or the center tap of this transformer is driven by the signal generator as well, and then the common mode signal is recovered at the second transformer out of the center tap, and it goes into this LED so that we can power up the LED using phantom power. Let's see if it works. Let's turn the signal generator on, and we will see the output on the blue trace and the differential pair on the yellow and magenta traces. And as you can see, it works. So we have some noise on the differential pair, which is successfully rejected by our transformer. Now let's drive a noise signal into the common mode connection and see what happens. Okay, so as you can see, it's not perfect, but it's definitely a lot better than any one of the differential pair signals. So our technique works. So what about phantom power? Well, we can drive the common mode to a high voltage, for example 5 volts, and as you can see, the useful signal at the output is unaffected even though the differential pair is now floating around 5 volts. And of course, the LED turns on when you do this. And all this without affecting our useful signal. Nowadays, circuits don't really use transformers for doing this, and in case you're wondering, here's the electronic solution to that. The electronic solution can look something like this. You can have a differential pair where your single-ended signal is coupled into one of the inputs, and then the other input is simply connected to a DC source, the balance source. And this biases the pair properly. And this way you turn your single-ended signal into a differential one. Now, in order to get your single-ended signal back, what you can do is you can apply this differential signal into another differential pair and simply couple the output out of only one of these collectors. And this way you get your single-ended signal back. Now let's run this and demonstrate that it works. So as you can see, it works. Here's the single-ended input, here's the differential pair, and here are the outputs. Of course, it's very distorted because I didn't even try to design this properly, but for a proof of concept, I would say this is okay. Now, the solutions presented so far are only for teaching purposes. What you should know is that nowadays there are dedicated ICs that do all this, and they are much cheaper than audio transformers. So an up-to-date solution would look something like this. You can have a DRV134 IC that is a single-ended to differential converter, and you can pair it with a INA 134, which is a differential amplifier, which turns the differential signal back into a single-ended one. And this is probably the most elegant up-to-date solution for this. And that's it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're interested in more content related to electronics and programming, please subscribe to this channel because there is more content like this on the way. Also, don't forget that you can support this community by joining me on YouTube, and this gives you early access to videos. And don't forget that Void Electronics is also an electronics community. So if you want to join our Discord server, you can find it on voidelectronics.com. That's all for now. Bye.